Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's now Giants week, and with that, we got to talk about this upcoming matchup. The Giants coming in undefeated at 2-0, the Cowboys at a 1-1 record. One team trying to stay, undefeated with the 3-0 record. The other, hey, we got a sluggish start, and we still kind of in that sluggish start, but can the defense continue to hold to get the Cowboys to 2-1 with an important division win? So, we'll get through all that in today's video. If you want to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, that's fine with me. But getting back to the main premise here. The Dallas Cowboys are sitting at a point in time where you don't have your starting quarterback, and odds are the earliest he can come back is next week, which I would not recommend. I think that that's something that the Cowboys don't need to, play around with. You need to get this guy healthy. Same thing with Michael Gallup, and I'll touch up on the Jalen Tolbert situation in a separate video because I think that deserves some highlighting there. But Dennis Houston, he's been released, so that tells me one of two things. Either Michael Gallup is being elevated or Jalen Tolbert will play in this game. And that's something that's big because now with Jason Peters getting ready to roll, like what's going to be the plan there? Because, you have a guy in Tyler Smith who's been playing very solid at the left tackle position for how young he is and for what we saw on tape going into this season, okay? And, hey, I've said it in the previous video. I definitely think he's now justified the 24th overall selection. And he's going to just continue to get better. So I'm glad that I'm eating crow on that. I think that, of course, looking back on it, probably Tyler Smith and his versatility is going to be something that's be well appreciated. And I think that we're going to have a discussion on, what do we do when Jason Peters is ready to roll? Do you play him at right tackle? Do you play him left? Because I'm going to be honest with you. I think that your best bet would be to play him at left guard in the short term, and then long term play him at left tackle. But again, you have to make that decision. I think you can't play around with it. You either say, hey, he's going to be our left tackle the future, that's it, or you roll with him at left guard and that's it. Because I don't want to have this moving back and forth thing. You got to make a decision. I would say next year when Tyron hangs it up, most likely. Again, that's another point for another video. But getting back to the Giants week. The Giants being 2-0 is definitely a surprise to many that have watched the Giants over the past couple of years because it feels like it really feels like they're a team that has a different aura around them. But I will say that the two wins they've had came at the last minute, which isn't a problem. I'm not trying to de-incentivize what they did because at the end of the day, listen, you're winning these games. You're being put in these positions to win these games. And I'm not going to criticize someone for winning games, but this is a game that is winnable for the Cowboys, and I think that anybody that's saying that the Giants will roll over Dallas is ridiculous. Hey, anything can happen on any given week of the NFL calendar, but let's look at it realistically. So the Dallas Cowboys going to have Cooper Rush for another week, and, hey, like I said with the other video, hey, if you can just give us an efficient game, no turnovers, or if you do have a turnover, keep them to a very minimal amounts, and you can move the offense down the field with not relative ease, but with an ease that we can be comfortable with, I think you'll be fine. Defensively, I think the Cowboys are only going to get better. You look at the fact that Jaron Kearse is out, and you have got other guys stepping in and doing their part. Micah Parsons having a Defensive Player of the Year start to the year. We'll see if that continues, and I think it will, and I'll get into that in just a moment. And in special teams, hey, you know what? Just try to minimize how many field goals you're kicking. As much as Brett Maher has looked good, I think that we need to be aware that you win games off of touchdowns, not field goals. So I think the plan would be you need to punch the Giants in the mouth early and put them away as soon as possible with any of these other teams, especially if you're going to try and do a defensive game plan. Now looking at the stats for the Giants. Now the Giants do have the league's leading rusher, as of today, with Saquon Barkley. Now the thing is, though, is that with Saquon's numbers, one of the biggest things is that like 43%. I'm gonna just double check this for you guys, real quick, because there was a very noted stat that I wanted to make sure I specified for you. So Saquon leading the league with 236 rushing yards on 39 attempts. But the thing is that 43% of his yards have come off 2 runs, one of which was 68 yards. I think the other was like a 40-yard run. So if I'm looking at these stats, I'm kind of saying to myself, all right, well, aside from those 2 runs, Barkley's been relatively pedestrian, which is fine. Listen, Saquon Barkley is a home run hitter. I know, Penn State guy. I'm very much aware. I love Saquon when he was in Penn State, and I know that's what you're getting with him. But at the same time, we got to keep in mind that the Dallas Cowboys, as I pull up this, the Cowboys have limited Saquon Barkley to 57 yards per game, and I think that is going to be one of the key things that wins you this game. You need to put the ball in Daniel Jones' hands and make him make mistakes. I think with what you saw, what Micah Parsons was able to do in the past 2 weeks, I think that this is something you can build upon. And this is going to be a big game. You just had a 6-sack game from your defense. I think that it can definitely carry over. Will you get 6 sacks in this game? I don't know. But I think that this is definitely because let's be real, we know that Daniel Jones is not on the same level as a Tom Brady or Joe Burrow, but he has played efficient football to win the Giants these games. But at the same time, it's not really helping them because it's not like it's Daniel Jones leading them and then they have someone else coming along that's going to be better like the Cowboys do. So if I'm the Giants, this is actually a must-win for them, and I'm going to explain why. If the Giants lose this game, you lose a key tiebreaker early in the season, and especially this is probably going to be your best chance to beat Dallas, assuming that everybody stays healthy and those that are hurt come back healthy. Because the defense will continue to get better. I think that the Cowboys will continue to find themselves in ways of how to win these games, but they got to close them. So I think if you're the Giants, you have to win this game. You have to keep the 3-0 record and the momentum there. But if I'm Dallas, listen, you go out there, you win this game, awesome. You know what? You give a chance to have another rested week for your quarterback and your players. But if not, now you're going to have to make a decision. Do you bring them back now? Which, again, I'm not making that risk regardless of the fact. I think that you make that decision after the Rams game. Or whenever the doctors say he's ready to come back. Not what the Joneses say, what the doctors say. What else was there? The Giants have given up 8 sacks in the last 2 weeks. 5 in week 1, 3 last week. And I think that that's something you need to keep an eye out on. Because offensive line-wise, I think you can definitely attack them. They have speaking of the pass rush, they do have a nice little pass rush there that's going to be huge for the Cowboys to kind of keep in check. They do need to be able to, if they get up early, put this game away as soon as they can. Because you can't go into the half, let's say it's 17-3, which is fantastic, and then you don't do anything until the very end. You need to get another touchdown or a field goal. You need to just keep scoring points. And I think that when you kind of look at what's been going on here, you got a situation where the Giants with Daniel Jones under center are 1-4 with him being a starter. And Daniel Jones has had 3 touchdowns, 5 fumbles, and 2 interceptions with him playing the Cowboys. And so I would look at it this way. The main thing is that I would say that the optimism here, if you're a Cowboys fan, is your defense is keeping you in these games. It's a matter of, can this offense give me enough points to win me the game? And the Cowboys have shown, yes, they can do that. I think that if they did the same exact offensive game plan they did in the Cincinnati game, they would be 2-0 right now. And I'm going to be honest, I had the Cowboys at 1-1. I so far have predicted this. I have predicted a Cowboys victory against the Giants. Do I think they'll beat the Giants this go around? I think that with Cooper Rush and how the offense is, knowing how the Cowboys are, they have a really big emotional win, and then they kind of let down. But this game, I'm not like dead set on what I was saying last week. I was like, I don't see it. I'm going to say that the Giants eke one out. Kind of going in favor with what's been going on the season. Hopefully that's a jinx. Hopefully reverse psychology works here. But let's just be honest with ourselves. The team that we're facing here is going to be the weakest opponent we've had. And it's a division opponent. That doesn't discount anything there. But the Cowboys have now gone through really two of their toughest opponents, and if they get a win here, they're in really good shape, especially when Dak Prescott and company come back, because now you have a division win, you have a quarterback that's rested, and on top of that, your offensive line's still getting some cohesion together. But also, this kind of is like you have a formula, and I think that if you can go through another week and this works and you win, I think now you have a true formula of saying, hey, listen, this is what we're going to do. We're going to play hard-nosed defense and, a decent amount on offense. And you don't have to ask for these quarterbacks to do a whole lot. Even Dak Prescott, I think the problem too is that Kellen Moore gets very arrogant with his play calling and as like the game goes on. And that's something like, okay, like you're okay, I'm fine with you being a little bit arrogant, but I'm kind of worried that the Cowboys will continue to do things that I'm like, all right, you're just getting back into what's not working. This is the Monday Night Football game. I'm going to go by a final score of 23 to, I'm going to say 23 to 17. No, 23 to 20. Cowboys lose. But, Sweet Scott, you can't pay. Listen, I'm hoping, like, hey, if they win, I'm going to just say, like, hey, they're going to lose because, why not keep the streak alive? But, I would say, and also to keep in mind, in the 5 games that we've played Daniel Jones, we've sacked him 9 times, so that's really good. Yeah, I think that the Cowboys do have a way of winning this game. This isn't like some hard matchup. Again, the Cowboys win this game. They are not expected to win this game, by the way. They're like 3-point underdogs. They're not expected to win. Okay, so if they win, it's a surprise, but also, again, I think that the conversation is, and I've seen this, is that people are discounting the Bengals now. They're like, oh, well, the Bengals, they got a Super Bowl hangover. No wonder why they lost against the Cowboys. Even though, like, both times Joe Burrow did not play particularly well. He played better in the Dallas game. But then you come to this game against the Giants, and I'm telling you, if the Giants win, people will say, oh, they're legit and all this other stuff. But if the Giants lose, they're going to be like, well, they got Daniel Jones at quarterback. So keep that in mind. Like, if we win this game, no one's going to give us proper stuff. And I think that the big thing, too, is that with the Giants losing, we can see across the way what Philadelphia's doing, and I know people were talking about it in Cowboy Land, like, oh, they look really good. Listen, I get it, and I know that there's some, like, uneasiness because they're like, oh, now we're not going to have... But then again, you knew this. If you've been following me and other content creators, we've told you, listen, Philadelphia is not going to be a slouch of a team. I think that anybody with a brain knew this. But it is September. And a lot of times, and I've seen this, 2019 is a prime example. The Cowboys look like a legit Super Bowl team. They're beating the shit out of teams. And then they get knocked in the mouth, and then they kind of just stumble. And the Eagles could definitely take that route. I looked at both their games. I think that they've had impressive wins against 2 decent opponents. But I'm not really seeing much outside of that. They had a really good first half against the Vikings, and they kind of took a break. The Lions win. The Lions are a good, I would think they're a good team or a solid team at that. That's still rebuilding, but they were given fits. So I would say that if you're a Cowboys fan monitoring the NFC East, I would say, listen, let's just take care of business and what's in front of us, and we'll deal with these guys when they come up. For all we know, listen, I said this before, and I haven't said it in a while. Listen, for all we know, we play the Eagles in week 6, and we're 3-2 or 4-1. I don't freaking know. Like, just throw a number out there. And the Eagles are either the same record or they're better. Like, it doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, we knew what the expectations were for this team going into this year. We weren't expecting much. Hey, we're expecting a team that's going to miss the playoffs or barely make it in and lose. And the Eagles will run away with the division. And if that's what happens, hey, that was what the expectation was. But if the Cowboys have anything to say about it, then people will discredit them. That's just the nature of the business. So I have a good feeling about this game. I think that I think that the Cowboys have much on paper to say that they can make this a winnable game. Will they? Maybe. I'm gonna say that the Giants eke one out barely, knowing with what's happened, but if there's a time for them to get knocked in the mouth, it's now. So hopefully the Cowboys do that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. All right, guys? Have a good one. Goodbye.